Welcome to Tuesday training. My name's David. I'm here to go through some new items with you. So let's take a look at the slides. So we're first going to go through new in Deskera. So we're going to connect to Shopify, invoice payment with Razorpay, invoice payment with Bitcoin, UOM Schema, and product variance. Connecting to Shopify has been there for quite a while now, but this is just to give you an idea of how to do it and get it all set. And also then we'll go through the overviews, Deskera Books, Deskera CRM, and of course, Deskera People. All right, so let's go and get started. Let me share my screen. All right. All right, so we're in the all-in-one business solution in this screen, and we're going to go to Books. And then we're going to connect to Shopify. So I've already just logged into Shopify. I can see my home and all my information. I can see my orders, my products, and of course my customers here. And then we're just going to go down here to Apps. And we're going to go to Ecom. And we're going to get the app. And then we can see we can connect to Amazon, Shopify, and WooCommerce here. I'm going to click on Shopify, and I'm going to connect to Shopify Store. So just to show you here, I'm connected to Deskera. So if I disconnect, let me just connect again. Connect. I select my company, authorize, and it's connected. So it's really that simple. Now I'm connected. And now I click on Shopify Stores. I click here, Connect to Shopify Store. I got to input my store name, URL, Shopify API key, and API password. Where am I going to get this information? So I have to go inside here to the Shopify web page. I have to click on Apps. I have to click Manage Private Apps. Inside here, I have to create a private app. And then I'll have to fill in some information in order to get the API key as well as the API password. So that's very important. So I have to put in the app name. So I'm just going to put in Deskera. I'm going to put in my email address. And then I'm going to show admin permissions. So this is where I have to give the permissions to the system. So that way they can actually pull data. Like, for example, customers, any draft orders, fulfillment, so it can update. And what I'm doing here is I'm just giving them access to everything, including the inventory. Even though it may not be necessary, you just give them access to what you want. And then you can decide, then it should just sync on order over accordingly. Of course, orders, my product listings, of course, my products, definitely need to give access to that. Script tags, probably not, but I'm going to give access anyways. So you get the idea. All I'm just doing is giving access to everything, but you can choose which access you want to give based upon your requirements. And then I want to save. And I want to create the app. Now it's creating the app. While that's being done, I can go back here to my e-commerce and let's just put in some information. So for example, I want to put in my URL, my store name, and then inside here, yes. So it's saved, 9 days left to select a plan. Yes, so everything's been given, all the access has been given. Private app has been created successfully, excellent. And I can see here my API key. So this is where I'm going to copy it to clipboard, paste it in here, and I'm going to go in here and copy the password as well. And I'm going to paste that in here as well, and I'm going to save. And now it's connecting. So I've successfully connected. Now I have to enable the different types of accounts. So for example, maybe I want purchases, sales. You can use purchase return or purchases. It's up to you. You also have accrued purchases as well, so you can decide on what you want to do here. These accounts here are the mapping accounts to Deskera. So for example, when I create a contact, there's usually accounts payable, accounts receivable. There'll be a journal entry generated from there. Same thing with a sales account. I need to be able to create my journal entries when a transaction's created. So this is determining which chart of account should be used for that. For example, which one for customer? So this is accounts receivable, so that'd be customer. Let's see. Any tax accounts that we can do? Probably not. So you can select which accounts you want based upon the requirement. Cost of goods sold account. So this is, for example, for your inventory, and this is your inventory account. Adjustment account, so if you need to do stock adjustments, and your warehouse. So for example, I'm going to do primary. I'm going to save this, and I'm going to enable sync. So now the sync's enabled. And then I should be able to go to see my order, and I see pending here, my customers pending here, and my products pending here. And once it syncs, it'll sync into the system. And the key thing is, you can see here, we have the product ID, the variant ID, and the name. So you can see mouse, gaming, black, normal, blue. These are the variants inside Shopify. So if I go to products in here, I can see I only have a mouse, but it has multiple variants. The key thing is you want to pull over the product and see the different variants, because different variants may have different quantities, different prices, and different aspects. Because it's great, you have a mouse, but if you're out of red mouses or out of gaming mouses, it doesn't have a point or a meaning. So you need to see what stock levels you have based upon the type of product you have. All right. And then we can go. So that's a quick look. Then you just have to wait for it to sync. Once it syncs, then you'll see it in the actual system itself. So that's a quick look at Shopify. Next, let's go to connect to, I believe, RazorPay. So how to do invoices in RazorPay. So let's go to e-payments, and let's get the app here. And inside here, you get three options. We're going to be looking, they have Paytm, OpenNode, and RazorPay. We're going to connect to RazorPay. And I'm going to choose my account and authorize. And then I connect my account. So for example, I have to put in my key ID and my secret ID in here. And then it'll show up. And it'll be connected. But what I'm going to do is I've connected one earlier where I put in my key ID and my API under my Indian client. I'm just going to go here and I'm going to go to the apps. And where do you see that? Just for in RazorPay, where are you going to generate that? Inside RazorPay here, you're going to go to settings. Inside settings, there's something called an API key. And this is where you can regenerate the test key here for more information. Actually, since it's a test key, it should not be a problem. Let me just go and actually copy and paste that in there now that I think about it. E-payments, get app. Yep, so RazorPay, connect. Let me go here and regenerate test key. Let's deactivate only key immediately. Okay, and then I can see my key ID here. Yes, authorize. And then after that, let's connect the account. Let's paste my key ID here. Please do not share this information with anybody. So you copy and paste it and you press OK, and it tells you that this is the last time you'll see it. So you have to make sure you copy and paste it somewhere safe. Then I submit it here, and now I'm connecting. So the key thing is definitely do not share your key and your key secret with anybody. It's very, very important. And since this is just a test environment, and that's a test environment, I'm just showing you here. So I've connected it. I can see my due date, my amount, my pay status here. So I can go here and I can click send. For example, Austin Ideas to David McGoldrick. I can update the email ID. I can see the invoice code and I can save it. And it's fetching. And now you can see Payment Gateway Razorpay. And now I can share link, email, or snippet. If I click on snippet, I can see, hello, Austin Ideas. You have a due payment of $128, and it's due by this date. I can click the link to pay. So if I click here, I can see my invoice, electronics, bill to, ship to, invoice, and the total. And I can make the payment here. I put in my phone number. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Here. Put in my email address. And then I click there and I can see the payment methods. So for example, since this is Singapore dollar, it is only card. And then I can put in the card name, expiry, hold holder name, CVV, and remember and make the payment. If I use a different currency, they have other options as well, such as QR, bank, and wallet. So e-bank, wallet, as well as QR code. You can also make payments. So that's an example of how to connect to Razorpay. And now let me destroy this key. Oh, actually, it just shows it here. Okay. I'll destroy it in a bit. All right, so that's Razorpay. I believe the next one we're connecting to is Bitcoin, right? So let's go back to e-payments. Let's get the app. And let's go here. And we're going to be connecting to OpenNode. So inside here, we can see the overview, your BTC wallet, payments, requests, templates, invoice, developer, and settings. So now I'm going to go to OpenNode. So you can see Razorpay has all its information. We're going to go to OpenNode, and we're going to connect to Deskera, again through electronics. And we're going to connect account. And now I need my API access key. So I have to go here to OpenNode, go to developers, integrations, and add key. So for example, Deskera, invoice, generate, and then I have my key here. I'm going to copy it. I'm going to close it. And then I'm going to go here, put in the API key and submit. And now it's connecting. Excuse me. And now we're inside here. And again, we can see all our transactions. I can see Austin Ideas was Razorpay. And now we're going to do, let's see, another Austin Ideas for Bitcoin. I can see the invoice, customer email address. Again, I can update the user email. I can save it. And you can see this one's for OpenNode. Again, I can share snippet. I can see again, hello, Austin Ideas. I can see the amount. Please pay your dues by this date. I can click on this link to pay. Again, I can see the name, bill to, ship to, invoice number, due date, the amount, and I can make payment. Sorry. Now I can see 0.00986324 Bitcoins equals 428 Singapore dollars. I can see it's 59 minutes and 14 seconds. And I can open a wallet and I can scan the QR code here. And you can see this is on-chain. And I also can click on Lightning as well. Again, I can open a wallet, scan the QR code, and I can see the payment request and copy it here. So that's how you can make a payment using Bitcoin. All right. So what have we covered? We covered how to connect Shopify to Deskera. And we also covered how to make payment for an invoice using Razorpay as well as OneNode in Bitcoin. Next, we are going to, let's see. We are going to Schema. Yes, Schema. So what is Schema? Schema is the measurements between different UMs. Like, for example, I can have one carton, but inside one carton, I can have maybe 20 packs. Inside a pack, maybe 30 pieces. So it's a breakdown of each UM measurement and how much they equal. So for example, I'm now in the Schema. It's under settings. First, you're going to have to create your unit of measurements, all the different ones here. For example, I create a gram. We have tons and we have metric tons. And then I can go here and then go to settings. And then I can go to unit measurement schema. I can add a For example, metrics. I'll select a default. Maybe I'll want this to be in grams. And then I can say 1 gram equals, if I remember correctly, 1 gram does not equal 1,000 kgs. It's 1,000 grams equal a kg. And I can say a gram equals to how many metric tons? How many grams equal a metric ton? Gram. 1 million grams. Wow. Okay. So for example, I'm just putting in the here, and then I can save it. And you can see metrics is here for grams, metric tons and tons, and then I can go to products. Now let me go create a new product. Maybe we'll sell, let's say apples. For example, maybe I'm selling apples. I go here to accounts, I go to inventory. I can use multiple I can select the schema. Let me go change this, not to unit, but I want to change this to grams. All right. Then you can see here, multiple it picked up. So remember, your unit of measurement, your base unit of measurement that you use for schema has to be put here. And then after that, I can enable multiple and the metrics will show up here. Again, we can add variance, but we'll talk about that in a bit. Now let's save. Next, let's go buy some. I can click here, create a new bill, add in the contacts. For example, let's go to Jim Taylor. You select an outlet. Let's add in a line item. Let's add in those apples. And let's change it. For example, maybe I want to buy 1 metric ton. I can put in the unit price. For example, maybe $1,000 for, what's it called? 1 metric ton of apples. I can select here, as you can see, kgs, metric tons, and grams here. And then after that, I can save and close. And then I can go here and let me receive the quantity. Yep, into my primary warehouse. Now let's go back to product. And inside here, you can see the available quantity in grams. So now I have 1 million grams of apples. Current balance. And when I sell, I can choose the quantity as well. Do I want to sell grams, kgs, or metric tons? All right. Now let's do the final one, and that's product variance. So inside products, we can create different types. So if I click new product, and it can be for tracked or non-tracked products. So let's use, what's a good product? A product variant is different unique features of a product. So for example, if I want to do phone case, I can have multiple different colors. I've got a red, blue, green, purple, yellow. Maybe I have it for different brands like iPhone 12, iPhone 11, iPhone 10, or different types of phones. It's all depending on what you're buying. So for example, phone case, I can see inventory looks okay, but the key thing is the variant here, and I can add multiple variants and sizes. So let's go and select color. So maybe, for example, black, blue. And I'm using the comma button to separate them, and that's what's defining it, red, white. And then we can add in size. Oh, this is not, sorry, color. Then add attribute. We can add in, for example, size. And we can do large, medium, small. And I continue to add in more and more attributes based upon my requirements. I can even type in the name of the attribute here if I want to and add it. After everything's good, I can click Save. Now inside here, I can see all my different variants. So I can see the variant name, variant number. I can add in the barcode, put in the sales price, opening quantity, opening valuation, and then I can click Generate. And now it's been created. So I can see 12 variants here. I can drill in. I can see the general detailed information, but the key thing here is the variance, so I can see it all. And this is where I can activate or deactivate it. I can click on the three dots. I can edit or delete, and I can add a variant here as well. So for example, if I want to put a variant number, put in the color, the size, put in the purchase price, purchase quantity, I can update it all here. After that, when I click on Buy and click on Bills, I can create a new bill. For example, Jim, Taylor, and then I can select the outlets. And again, these are my custom fields that I've created in the system. I'll show you that later on when we do the overview of where to create them. And you can see all my phone cases are here. So for example, if I want a red/large, I can see my phone case red large. I can also see other variants as well, other products with variants here as well. I can put in the quantity. So maybe I want to buy 10, put in the unit price. And then I can go up here and I can save it. After that, it's been done. I can click on the three dots and I can receive the goods. So I can select my warehouse, primary, Changi, or Jurong. Let's do Jurong this time. Now when I click on the product, I can see there's 10 available stock, but what does it relate to? I can actually then drill in, click the variant, and then I can see the quantity here. All right, so that's an overview of what's new in Deskera. Do we have any questions so far on what's new in Deskera? Okay, let's go check it out. Let's see what they say. All right. All right. Okay, let's see. Is there going to be cover WooCommerce as well? I can show the connection of WooCommerce, I guess. Just 1 second. During the demo, or? Let's see. All right. Okay, let me. 1 second. Every time you focus more on e-commerce vendors, can you please talk about service vendors as well? Vendors providing service? Okay. Let's go to books. What happened? All the connections. Let's see. I'm not sure on that because I haven't created a Transferwise account. I would have to sign up and create one before. Okay. Because inside here you can get the app for Transferwise. Okay. In future, because I don't think I have an account. I would have to check and see. All right. So first one we're talking about. Let's go one by one. First, let's go to service vendors, right? So inside here, we can create a contact. And based upon this contact, we can fill in the information. So Jim's accounting. So it all depends on what the purpose is. Do they have physical products, non-physical products? Or do we even consider products at all? So if we consider a product, meaning we're going to create a service product from a vendor, we can do that. Or we can actually go to accounting, go to expenses, and we can create a direct expense. So for example, if someone's coming over to, let's see, it's a one-time payment, like say electricity, what's it called, water, power, I can just select the contact here, for example, and do the payment directly. I don't have to create a bill, expense, or anything like that. I can just go here, select the bank, payment method, put in the check number, select another account. For example, let's see. Test account, I can put in the amount here. This would be more like your power, water, any outstanding amounts. And then after that, I can save it and I can generate it. So this would be more for a direct expense, power, water, electricity. Now, if it's something else, for example, maybe it's something I want to keep track of. For example, there's aircon servicing, and the aircon servicer will provide maybe 6 actual sessions of it for my company where they'll service our aircon 6 times a year, and I want to keep track of each time. Then I can create a product or service product called aircon servicing, and then I can go and fulfill that service every time he comes in. That way I keep track of it, and I'll create it as a bill. I can also create here expense bill. So for example, if I'm not paying it, I got the bill here for a service. I can go here and select the contact and then select the account that it's applied to and then fill it in.
There's a question about decimal places.
Decimal places. Ah, okay. Let me go check. Excuse me. Why do you have 4 decimals, buddy? Can you modify to no decimal places? Okay. The reason why I have 4 here is because under settings, let's go to settings. Under your organization profile, if I click the pencil icon, under finances, you can select the number of decimal places. You can go up from 2 to 3 to 4, but you cannot go down. Meaning, for example, originally when the system's created, you have 2 decimal places. If you wish, you can increase it to 3 decimal places or 4. But after you increase it, you cannot decrease it because it affects all your reports, all your amounts and everything will start going funky because we're not recording based upon any random recording based upon 4 decimal places.
So it's just for the demo.
And this is just for my demo, and my demo system has 4. You don't have to have 4. When it starts, it's just 2. All right, let's see, anything else? Let's see.
I think we can move on.
Hmm.
Want to show a bit of WooCommerce?
All right, I think, let me see. Should be okay. Let's see, just want to check something out. Okay, so for WooCommerce, let me see. Okay, looks good so far. Excellent. So let's go to WooCommerce and take a quick look at that since it was mentioned. All right, so I'm just going to go directly to my apps, just like we did before. No change. And then we're going to go to ecom here. Inside here, we're going to get the app. And you can see we've connected to Shopify. You can see my orders, products, and contacts here. And then I can see the information. Now we're going to go to WooCommerce and we're going to add a store. So inside here, we're going to put in the store name. Excuse me. So for example, let's see, Deskera 1994. We're going to put in the store URL, and we're going to click connect. Then inside here, we have to put in the username. 94. And then we have to put in the password. And then we have to click login. Now it asks you for some information. Deskera would like to connect to your store. This will give Deskera read-write access, which will allow it to create webhooks, view and manage coupons, view and manage customers, view and manage orders and sale reports, view and manage your products. Do you approve of this? So I'm going to click approve, of course. Then after that, we have our data sync options. And again, you can see all of our wonderful accounts that we have to put in. For example, your bank account. So I'm going to put in, which bank account? Should I do DBS? Yeah. Okay, DBS. You have to put in your purchase account. Sales account, because this is for your products. Your payable is for your customer, or your vendor actually. And your receivable is for your customer. Your sales return, purchase return, cost of goods sold, inventory, stock adjustment, and product warehouse. And then you can save it. And after that, you can enable sync. Then inside here, I should be able to see my orders. You can see they just flown right in here and currently pending syncing. Inside here, I can see my names and I can see my contacts and I can sync the data here if I just click sync. Sync job started, for example. So I can manually click on all these, but okay. Oh, it's already running. See, this is what happens when you get too aggressive and you start pressing sync on everything. So inside here, it's now syncing the data. Do you have any other questions on WooCommerce? Nope. Okay. Let's see. Any other questions?
We can move ahead to the
Okay. So
how you want that question.
no, I see our managed to find decimal places for finance, not for product. Yes, that's an enhancement that's happened recently, is that the decimal places is now reflecting for quantity as well as for finance. So you should see it all for each quantity now when you click on for. It's not just restricted to finance anymore. So it's now increased. You should be able to see it for all your quantities as well. All right. So let's see. One last question here that I see, JE, before we go into the overview. It says, hi, Mr. David. May I know if this training webinar will be recorded after the session ends? Would like to review back. Yes, it'll record it and put it in our YouTube channel, so you'll be able to refer back to it. All right. I think we covered all the questions. So now I'm going to close a lot of this stuff. And let's go back to, let's go and open this books. Let me open CRM as well. And let me open people. Get that all opened up.
So we'll go by the
Yeah, so we're going to first do the overview of books, then we're going to do sales, and then we're going to go through people. So the key thing is that after you set up your company, you put in, of course, your company name, your book beginning date, your financial year date, your tax registry. Then you can go to settings here, and we can click on organization profile. Sorry, let me just get.
Do you have a video for Transferwise?
Transferwise, we have a video.
Do you want to show that?
Transferwise video?
So you can tell them it's not configured it, but you can.
Let me see, YouTube, let me go and take a look. And check under our contact for, why does it ask me to sign in? Oh, it's asking me for everything.
Sagar is asking about Transferwise.
Sagar, okay. Let me see, we can maybe put it in You can see my wonderful password is a pain in the butt. Okay. All right. Let me just go here. Deskera channel. I'm not even bothering with all that stuff. Okay, YouTube channel. I believe we have a Wise. Oh, nope. We do have a Transferwise video. I created a while back. I just can't remember my login, password, and all that. So let me just search here for Wise. As I believe that's what's called now, Wise. Yep.
So you want to just
Here it is. Do you want me to show the video?
Yeah, just a glimpse of it and then run through it. And
Okay. Here we goes the video.
so tell them it's already available.
So it's available already. You can see in here we connect to Deskera Books, and it's available. Wise is on the system. You can go and use it for making payments to vendors. Inside here, you can see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you put in the email address, you put in the password. Of course, you choose your organization and you authorize it. Then after that is when you connect to Wise. So you're just going to go click Connect with Wise. And then inside here, you're going to put in your email address and you're going to put in your password. And then after you input your password, you're going to click Login. And then it sent you an SMS. So you have to put in the 6-digit code. Again, this is a trial system, so that's why it's 11111. Then you click which account you want to access. Then you can access the details, balance, transfers, and receipts. Are you willing to allow Deskera to access this? And then you can give access. After that, you are connected. Then just like everything else, you have to map the data. So which bank account, what's your Wise fee account that'll be posted, and then you update. After that, you can click on your purchase invoices. And inside here, we can see our quotes, our bills there. And then I can get quote. I can see the source currency and the target currency. Click connect. I can see the payment details. I can choose the recipient, reference details, and of course, input all the data, and I can continue. And after that, I can confirm it. And now it's confirmed. So I can see the transfer details there, and I can see now it's currently pending. So I can see the amount and everything that's pending. So hopefully that gives you an idea of Transferwise. And inside here, of course, you can see source currency and your target currency is different. And then I can choose the recipient. I can put in the information, reference, source of funds, all that information, and I can continue. And then I can click, of course, confirm. I can see the target amount, total fee rate, delivery estimate, and of course I can see the source amount, and I confirm. All right, so that was a video of Transferwise on our YouTube channel. Please go like, subscribe, and go to our YouTube channel to see all our wonderful videos.
The question is, can we accept payments from clients to Transferwise?
It's only Transferwise, if I understand correctly, is you send out payments to your vendor. If you want to receive payments from your customer, then you would do it through Stripe, PayPal. You would do it through Veeam, but take note, Veeam requires you to be your base current to be in USD. So those are the areas. You know, make payment is, based on my understanding, Transferwise and Veeam can make payment to vendor. Okay. All right, so we shall continue. Okay, see, wait. I have a WooCommerce multi-site, US, UK. How do I? You mean you have multiple sites in WooCommerce? If that's the case, if I understand correctly, if I go to WooCommerce, oops, sorry, not this WooCommerce, sorry, under ecom, I go to WooCommerce, I can add additional stores here. So if you mean like you have more than one store for WooCommerce, you can just click here, add store, and you can add more of them inside the system. All right, so are we ready for the overview of Deskera books? All right. So inside here, we were going down to general and we're going to organization profile. Inside here, I can click on the pencil icon. The key thing here is that I can see my name of my company, my tax registry. So this is very important. You select the correct tax registry. The reason for this is all the country's tax compliance determined by this. So if I select the US, my US tax compliance will populate into books. If I select Singapore, Singapore tax compliance will populate. I select Canada, Canada tax compliance will populate. So when you create your country, please select, or company, please select the correct tax registry. Inside here, my date format. So if you're in the US, it's month, month, day, day, year, year, year. If you're in Singapore or other countries, it's day, day, month, month, year, year, year. So this is where you can select it accordingly and set it up so that it appears the way you wish it to be set up. Under finance, I can see my financial start date, book beginning date, reporting currency. And this is where you enable multi-currency. So if you want to enable it, you can click here to activate it. Then you select the currencies you want, and then you enable it. This is where you select the decimal places. Originally, it's 2, but then you can move it up to 3 or 4. You can increase the decimal places, but please take note. Once you increase, you cannot decrease. This is where you'll select your number format. So for example, we have different types here for you to select. Compliance. So this is again based upon your country's tax compliance. So it changes based upon which tax registry you selected. So inside here, I can see UEN, GST because this is Singapore. And I also can opt in for e-invoicing and put in the PEPL ID and vendor ID. In other countries, you'll see other information. For example, in the US, you'll see, do I collect taxes? What's my tax ID? And which states do I collect taxes from? So it all changes based upon which country selected. And inside here, I can see my address, and I can see my address 1, my address 2, and I continue to add in addresses here if I want to. So 2, 3, 4. So maybe 1500 E Street, Fresno, California. And you can see it also populates here, and I can update it. So again, I can see the information's updated correctly. And then let's go to settings. Just quickly, we have currency here. So this is where I can see all my different types of currencies. If you want to deactivate a currency or activate a currency, just click on the eye icon. So for example, Thai baht, activated. South African rand, deactivated. If I want to activate multiple, I just click here, activate. If I want to deactivate multiple, let's see, anyone else I want to, no, that's good. I'll click deactivate. I can change my exchange rate here. And please take note, we can change exchange rates in multiple locations. So yes, I can update it directly on this screen, but I can also update it in transactions as well as in payments. So that way I don't have to change it here every time. I can make changes in different transactions themselves. I can also view rates of disabled transactions, and I can see them here. In settings, this is where you can do your payment terms, your unit of measurement, and we showed you earlier how to do UM measurement of schema. Custom fields. So inside here is where you can create your custom fields. And you can put in the field name here. So for example, I have like outlets, you can do color, you can do other items, maybe brand, based upon how you want to slice and dice your reports and how you want to filter out your sales and billing transactions. I can also select text box. For example, contact name, maybe contact number, any additional remarks. I can select number here. Maybe I want a specific number to be inputted. I can put in the decimal precision here and the default value, and I can also make it mandatory. Under availability, I can then select what I want to put it under. So for example, your masters, which are your contacts, products, accounts, you can put under your journal entries. You can put under expenses, deposits, debit note, credit note, quotations, invoice, purchase orders, and bills. So you can select where you want to add it to. Then inside here, we have, of course, our documents. Oh, let me just show you quickly taxes. If you're in the US, don't worry about this tab. Nothing will show up because taxes are calculated based upon your locations and based upon which city, state, street that you live in. So this will not be shown. But for other countries, such as Canada and, for example, Singapore, and I believe also Malaysia, you'll be able to see your tax types here. And inside here, you'll be able to disable it by the eye icon or show it based upon the eye icon. And I can also add my new tax and also add tax groups. Excuse me. So I can type in make a tax group here, put in a tax code, and then I can select the type here. Is it sales, purchase, or both? And I can select the components. So for example, DS7 and OS0, for example. And I can select a pre-tax amount or after-tax amount. So it's up to you. This is where you can create your tax groups. Of course, we have our audit log, so I can see what the heck's going on in the system. And of course, I can export it. This is your import log, so I can see any files accepted or rejected. So you can see the blue file is the original, green file is what's been imported correctly. And if I have a red file, it shows what's failed to import. So I can download that there. We have our email. Yes. This is something that a lot of people requested. Originally, our emails for our invoices were sent by our Deskera email, but not any longer. You can put in your sender info, your sender email, username, password, your SMTP server, so server host name and your port number. You can send out test mail, you can verify it, and once you verify it, your sales invoices will now be sent by your email address. It'll no longer be sent by ours. So this is something that we have here. And we have sequence number settings. So this is where you can have your unique identifier based upon transactions. So quotation, invoice, order, and bill. And I can select here and I can do my own, add new, what's it called? Custom number range. So for quotes, I can put in prefix, separator, display digit separator, and a suffix. So I can set it up the way I want it. All right, so that's pretty much for settings. Let's quickly go to contacts. So just inside here, I can see the name, email address, contact. Again, there'll be different statutory requirements. So let's see, maybe FC Holdings. And you can see I just created right there. I can also create it at the transaction itself. So I can put email, contact, UEN, tax. This is, again, your statutory compliance or country compliance. I can put in the currency, accounting information, my payment terms. I can create a payment term directly on the screen. And I can put in my address. So for example, maybe 71. I can populate, I can click on it, and I can save it. So based upon your country and your country's compliance, address may or may not be mandatory. So, and whether or not you collect tax also matters as well. We also have the import option, so this is where you can import it. The key thing here is we have our template. You can download our template, fill in the information, upload it. But if you don't want to use our template, just drag and drop it directly into the screen and click next. Then you can auto map the fields and then import it. Inside here, we also have products. So we were talking about products earlier. And we showed the new variant and UOM, but we have three different types of products here. We have non-tracked, tracked, and bill of materials. So what is a non-tracked product? A non-tracked product, you can consider like a service product, like aircon repair, electrician, my good old lighting, electricity, water, and power. What my sister does, she's a certified public accountant who does auditing. So that would be considered service. You also can think of it like products that you don't want to keep track of, like maybe printing paper that you bought, maybe those wonderful cups with your company logo that you pass out to potential customers or customers when they visit your office. It's all depending on what you want to keep track in the system and what you don't want to. We have tracked items. So you can think of it like this camera I'm staring at, or this wonderful monitor, or my laptop, or this mic, or these wonderfully bright lights. They're all tracked products. And inside there, you can keep a track of what type of products you want to see. And based upon the tracked product, we have advanced tracking. So we have batch track. So for example, maybe a batch of medicine or a certain, how do I say this? A certain number of pills that have been produced at a certain time is considered a batch, and they're put into a pill or the container, and they have a batch number on it. So those batches are maintained, because if there's a recall or something went wrong, then they pull those batches off the shelf. Just like vegetables or any type of fruit or vegetables that are packaged, they have batch numbers. Any reason they're pooled, they're pooled. Anything that's produced may have a batch number. And we have serial numbers. So it's depending on how well you want to track, or how finely you want to track. So for example, each laptop has its own unique serial number. Each camera may have its own unique serial number, because you want to track each one, and maybe there's a warranty attached to it. So you want to see it at an individual level. We also have bill of materials. So it's a bill of material. It's an assembly, it's a product with multiple components that are assembled together to form a product. You can think of it like a desktop computer. It has a case, motherboard, RAM, CPU, a hard drive, a fan, and you assemble it together to form that computer. You also can think of it like a recipe, like chicken soup. You can have like noodles, chicken, vegetables, broth, and you cook it all together and you form the chicken soup. You can also think of it like packages. For example, I have hotel rooms, like a 5-day stay or 5-night stay, plus airplane tickets, plus helicopter ride. I want to package it into something. So I take these 3 components and I package together and I sell it off as a deal. So these are different ideas you can think of bill of materials. So just to show you, under bill of materials, you can put in your components. So we're going to do a nice computer set here. So I'm going to select a monitor. Let me see, a mouse, keyboard, and maybe a computer. And I'm going to go here under additional costs, and maybe I want to add in packaging, for example. And I can put in the total amount here under packaging. And then I can save it. So these are the different types of products you can create. Also, based upon your different types of products, you may have different statutory requirements or country compliance that's required. And you may see this here based upon the product. All right, so those are products, contacts. Mm-hmm. A question, okay. Let's see. Sales return and purchase return page. How it working? Can you show that and explain that, please? Sure, I can. So let's first create a sales return and purchase return. All right, so just quickly, this is where you can create your warehouses. So that way I'll just finish up some of the, masters. So this is where you can create your warehouses under accounting. This is where you can create and import your chart of accounts. So you can add and import here. Just quickly, your opening balances. So this is where you can add your opening balances for your accounts. For your inventory, opening valuation and quantity. Valuation is the total amount of the product. And of course, this is where you put in your opening bills and invoices. Also under accounting, you can see here, we have our debit note, credit note, expense deposit, and this is where you can set up your financial year closing. Let's go to buy. So earlier, we already created a couple buy transactions, and we received some goods, right? We received, let's see, what do we receive here? I think we received a heck of a lot of apples and grams, if I remember correctly. Let's see. This one, oh no, this is phone case large. Okay, large red. All right, so let's go here. Yeah, let's go to this one here, P007. And let's click here, create purchase return. So this is my 1 million grams of good old apples. So maybe some of the apples were not good. So maybe I want to return 10,000 grams of apples or 10 kgs. I can select from my warehouse and the return date, and I can click return. Now my purchase returns created successfully. And now I have to decide, do I want to do a debit note or a direct deposit? Am I paying the guy back? Am I receiving the money back directly from them, or I'm getting a debit note to apply on a later purchase? So inside here, let's just do a direct deposit. My contact's already selected. Let me select my wonderful account. And I can select my payment method here. From the reference number. And this is your fee account. So there may be a fee or bank transfer fee or something. So you can put in the fee account here, such as bank charges and the amount as well. Now I can add the account for the amount, and then I can put in the amount I'm receiving back. So for example, maybe I'm receiving $100 back, and I save. So I received that back based upon how much it is. Next, if I go to sell, let's see, did I create any invoices today? I don't think so. Andy Lee, I see 535. Let's go and do a return for him. So let's click on the three dots. Let's see, where is it? Actually, let me just create a new one. Let's create a new invoice. And let's go to add contacts. I'll pass. And let's select one. Let's see. You can see JKRRR, my wonderful contact from WooCommerce, has synced into the system. Let me see. What do I want to use? Let's see. Kelly's keyboards. And excuse me. I can go here to add URL. I can add an ecom store URL and ecom store here as well. Let me add this. Let me see. I want to sell actually apples. Or we can sell a different item, maybe keyboard. I can hover over here and see how much quantity I have. So maybe I want to sell 100 of them. And I'm going to save and close. By the way, you can set up payment here. So if you connect to Shop, PayPal or Stripe or WooCommerce, you can see it there. And then you can go and create your payment link. Now let's go here, Kelly's keyboards. Let's go here and fulfill. And we have a choice. We can do direct fulfillment, pick, pack, ship, or drop ship. So pick, pack, ship is where I pick up the goods, I pack them up, and I ship them out. Maybe by a carrier, or it's a self-collection, or it's a self-delivery. Drop ship, that's where a customer places an order to me. I immediately place the order with a vendor, and the vendor will send it off to the customer directly. Once the customer receives it, the vendor's purchase order will be considered fulfilled. Let's do a direct fulfillment. Okay, I can see the required quantity. Let's just fulfill it. All right, so it's fulfilled. Next, let's do create a sales return. And we had 100 quantity. Let's return 10. Click on return. And then I can do, again, a direct expense or a credit note based on my requirements. So it's up to you. Do I get the money immediately back, or it's going to be a credit note to a future order or a current order? And you can always do it later. All right, so hopefully that answered the question for sales return and purchase returns. Excellent. So let's just make some payments. So let's go get paid. So I'm just going to go here and click payment. And inside here, I can choose the currency. So since it's SGD, I can see my SGD banks. But if I select here, for example, USD, you can see my USD banks have changed here. And I also can hover here and see that the information here says it's more than what's due, for example. So I can always update the amount here as well if I want to. But you can just change the currency directly on the screen. You can see now it's actually showing that it's fine. Put in the payment terms. Actually, let me do a USD payment. It's been a while. The reason why I want to do one of these is because I was mentioning earlier about the exchange rates. So inside here, you can see the currency, document currency, and the conversion rate. So this is where you can update the conversion rate accordingly. So because let's be honest, the bank is going to tell you what the rate is. You cannot dictate the rate to the bank. You can't say, oh, but my invoice for over 2 days or 3 months ago said this exchange rate. Doesn't matter. You're going to have to update the rate accordingly. Click next. And then make payments. So just to show you what I mean. So for example, okay, and then I just click next and I make payment. And I close it. And I can see one payment received accordingly. So just to give you an idea of that, you can make payment in foreign currency, you can update the exchange rate, and you can send it out. Same thing with sales. You can do the same thing. So for example, under sell, I can click get paid. I can select the currency. Again, my bank will change. I can update the amount here, for example. And I can select the payment type, reference number. And again, I can update the exchange rate right here based upon my requirements. Click next and receive payment. And then of course I can print it out and close it. So one of the reasons why you may be printing out, or you see print out when you see buy and you make payment, is because some companies actually attach this payment record or that printed out receipt with a check for their boss to sign off on. So that's why they have that receipt. They have the check. It's all for signing off purposes. All right. So I just want to quickly show you apps. We spent a lot of time in apps, but there's a lot of other stuff in apps too. So for example, we're mentioning our payment gateways. We have Veeam, PayPal, we have Stripe, and we have Wise. So for Veeam, PayPal, and Stripe, you can receive payment from the customer. And for Veeam and Wise, you can send payment to your vendor. We have our fixed assets here. So if you have any fixed assets, this is where you're connected to. And we have UPS and FedEx, USPS and FedEx. So this is where you can track your shipments that you've done, either through direct fulfillment or through pick, pack, ship. And this is where you have your stock transfer and stock adjustment. So this is where you can do that. We have Integrately, Pabbly, Zapier, and Integromat. So this is where you can connect to third-party applications. So if you want to connect to one of them, you can check them out. And of course, we have our e-com, which we went through a lot today. The only one we didn't go through was, let's see, we didn't just go through Amazon. So you can connect through Amazon, WooCommerce, Shopify, and we also did e-payments today. So you saw how to connect to OpenNode, Razorpay, and we also have Paytm as well. All right. Next, let's go to bank. Inside here is where you can connect to a lot of different banks. So for example, if I click here, I connect to bank. I can also import my statement. And for example, if I want to connect to Stripe, I can type in Stripe's name. So I'm connected to Stripe. I can type in the bank, for example, OCBC. I can see OCBC velocity, OCBC here. I can type in my banks. But for example, if I type in Wells Fargo, my US bank account, I will not see anything here. So for example, if I have a US bank account, I want to connect it, I can click here, can't find your bank. Then I can go to Plate or Yodlee, find bank. And inside here, I can get started. And I can find my Wells Fargo bank directly on the screen, for example. I can type in my username and password and connect. So if you don't find your bank, or especially if it's in a different country, you can go try can't find my bank, and then you can select Plate or Yodlee, or based upon your country, Salt Edge. And then you can look there and see if your bank exists there as well. Just want to mention we have, of course, bank rules, which I think is pretty cool. So for example, let me go here and let me edit. Oh, can I edit this rule? Let's see. Edit, yes. So inside here, we have our Austin name, our type, is it credit or debit? Which bank account does it apply to? Does it apply to all? And what conditions? So what is a rule? The rule determines based upon your bank statement. So when you connect to a bank, your bank statement flows into Deskera. And from there, you do your bank reconciliation. Or you upload your bank statement, and then you do your bank reconciliation. The question is, what happens to the bank statements transactions in there? Are you just matching from physical Deskera transactions, or should something be done? For example, your power bill, your water bill, maybe you want a transaction created every time. So this is where you can create the rules, like payee contains Austin, description contains ideas, contact should be Austin, account, what's the payment term, reference, transaction type, and is it review and create? Do I review and create it, or do I auto create? When I auto create means it's created automatically. And I can view the transactions here and see if there are any that show up, and then I can save it. All right, so next we have our reports. So you can see, of course, our profit and loss, balance sheet, cash flow. One quick thing I just want to mention, filters. Inside here, you can add your custom filter. I can go, for example, to outlets. Click here, select my value, draw, and then I can save it, and then it'll filter out accordingly. So I can see my income, any expenses. I need to create more expenses, which are wrong. But, you know, you can go here and you can add in your outlets. I can add in other filters here accordingly and select, and slice and dice. So, orchard, drawn, you know, again, you just create until you can see the report the way you want. But that's possible for your profit and loss, balance sheet, cash flow statement, general ledger. We have our bank reconciliation reports, our statement of account reports, our tax report. So this is based upon your country's tax registry. These reports change based upon which country you've selected. For example, and since I'm in Singapore, I can generate or create my GST form 5, 7, or 8. Under reports, we of course have our different inventory reports, my stock availability report, my stock aging report. How old is my stock and how quickly is it moving? For example, wow, I have 925 computers sitting there since 120 days ago. So clearly I need to look at which ones I need to move out, which ones are coming in. I can see computer sets are coming in. I bought new keyboards when I have 1,387 for over 120 days. So you can see here, like, why am I buying new keyboards when I have so many already in stock? They've been there for a long time. Oh, we have a question? Okay. All right. Can you see the frequency of update in multi-currency? You can see, updated automatically. Yes, you can. It's in the currency exchange rate. So inside here under settings, under currency, let me go to United States dollar. I can see the exchange rate, effective date, and the timestamp. So you can see here the different times I've changed it, all the way from 28/10, 2020, all the way to 15/6, 2021. So you can see the exchange rate changes here. Does that answer your question? Because it'll show how many times I've updated here. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, but maybe I misunderstood the question. Let me see. What's that? You can set the frequency of updates in the auto update FX rate is the option available here. Okay, so they're talking about auto update FX rate. So you have to click the auto button. Okay, now I understand what he's talking about. Auto update FX rate. Here it is. So this is the auto update FX rate that you can set up here. So I can deactivate it, activate it. Do I want it daily, weekly, or monthly? So let's update it daily. Yes. So every day it'll get updated. So this is what he's referring to. Auto update FX rate. So again, you can do it daily, weekly, or monthly. You slide it here, you activate it. Did that answer the question? Yeah, we're done with books. All right. So that's just the key thing with the reports. Just quickly, we have the sales report, age receivables, credit notes, product list. Next, let's go to sales. So inside here, I'm at the dashboard. I can see organizations, people, deals lost, deals won, my contact report, deal stages, upcoming activities, campaigns, tickets. So I see all the information here. The key thing is team settings. So what is team settings? Inside your contacts and deals, you can set the visibility. Is it seen by private, only the owner, sub-owner? Is it seen by the team or seen by everyone? So if you want it to be seen by team, you select the owner, and the owner is a member of these different teams. So you'll create a team, select the owner as that, and then the team will be able to see. We can create custom fields here. So inside here, you can create text box, single selection drop-down menu, number, country, currency, and date. Under email, so this is where you're going to actually link your email. So you can go in here and you can put in the informational sync. Just to give you an example. If I connect my email here, you put your sender name, email address, username, password, server port, allow non-secure certificates if you want to, and then you can save it. Once that's done, it'll be connected. So what does it mean when it's connected? It means that I can now send email from my contacts and deals. And once I send inside the system, and once I send a contact or a deal email to my contact, if they respond, it'll automatically flow back in the system. So it'll capture our correspondence within that deal or within that contact. Integration settings. So this is where you connect to Microsoft 365, Google Tag Manager, and webhooks. If I click edit, you can see it's to edit. I'm able to sync to contacts and activities. Under guides, this is where you can create your help center. You can select your hero image, logo, favicon. You can select your domain. And under settings, this is where you can activate your help center and disable Powered by Deskera. In tickets, this is where you can add in your support email. So what is a support email? When a customer sends an email to that email address, a ticket will be raised in Deskera under services, under support. From there, you can respond, reply, and keep track of it. Of course, we have the audit trail. We have our preferences. So this is where you can disable Powered by Deskera logo, import log. But next, let's go to contacts. Inside contacts, you'll notice some new additions here because we synced our wonderful WooCommerce as well as our wonderful Shopify earlier. So what happened? Once we sunk it to books, those contacts were then sunk to Deskera sales. So you can see them in here. John Doe, JKRRR, FC Holdings. So those contacts that were created with WooCommerce have flown in, and from Shopify have flown into Deskera books and then has sunk into Deskera sales. Quickly in here, just to show, I can just click on these. Oops. Click on the contact. I can see the information. I can create an email here, put the subject to, subject, put in the email subject, and of course, input the text. I can also select these. For example, I want to give these guys labels. I can change the label here. Cold leads, for example. They've been updated. I can change the visibility, and I also can change the column format. So for example, if I want, for example, company size, that's an important custom field for me. I can move that up here. What's it called? Let's move, let's see, owner maybe down lower. I can just change it and save it, and the column will update accordingly. All right. So that's contacts. You can also sync your contacts, import your contacts, and create. If you click import, you can import from a file or Microsoft 365. Let's quickly go to marketing. This is where you can create your segments, your email templates, and your forms. So the forms is the key thing, is where you actually type. So these are your segments. You can add in your segments here, select who you want. inside forms, this is where you're able to select the fields you want, mark which ones are mandatory. Then after that, then you define the properties, messages, and then after everything is done, you'll be given an HTML code. You're going to copy that and embed in your web page. So what does it do? You fill in the information there inside that form and you submit. It'll automatically create a contact or deal inside Deskera sales. So that way, whenever someone goes in and wants to share their information as a potential customer or potential deal, it'll automatically populate here. Next, let's go to campaign. Let's add a campaign. And then we can put in the campaign name. June campaign. June sales event. Select the category. Click next. I can also add additional categories. I can click here and select my segments. I can always create a new segment here. I can select my template. I can use my template or select a blank template. And then I can go and modify it. So inside here are my different placeholders. I can just drag and drop and change it. I can check and see if everything looks good. And then I can save and continue. Next. And then I have a choice here. I can use Deskera's email server or I can use my own. I can use up to 5 accounts. Inside here, I put the sender name, email address, username, password, outgoing mail server, and outgoing mail port. And do I allow non-secure certificates? After I fill that in, then I can send out using my email. But for this demo, I'm just going to use Deskera's email. So I'm going to put in the name. Click here. If it's your first time inputting an email, it'll ask you to verify it, meaning you'll click on it, it'll go to your email box, and you'll have to click on the verify link. After that, you should be all connected. I can use a different reply to address, and I can also schedule this for later. For example, 6 p.m. sounds good. Set it, and then I can schedule it or save it as a draft. Then go back to my campaigns. I can see all my different events here, and I can just click on one, for example, the ones that have already been sent. And I can see if it's been opened, anyone click, bounce, unsubscribed, and total, and I can see my individuals and when they opened it. All right, so let's go to services. Inside here is where I can create my different types of guides, and I can add in my different sections. So I can add a section, I can add an article. Inside articles, I can see my different articles, and I can just go and input the text, put in pictures, any links, see the table of contacts, see all the information. If everything looks good, then I can click either save or save and publish. So please take note. If you click the save button, it just saves. You have to click this button here to publish it. So please take note of that. All right, let's go to support. Inside here, I can see my support tickets. I can see inquiry on system. I can see like how to set up the software. Could you share me a guide? I can reply here with the information. I can assign somebody to take over. So for example, David Williams, any incident, the priority. I can see the email address here, the requester. And then I can save as open, save as pending, save as solved. I can change the type and update it. I can also see the different views here, and I can create my own view by clicking Manager View. Then I can add a ticket view, and I can put the view name. So for example, if I just want to see David's tickets, I go here, I do assignee, condition is, value, David Williams, and I can add in additional ones. For example, status is pending, or I want to see status is opening, or status is new, and I continue to add here. All right, now let's go make a deal. So inside here, I can have my default pipeline. I can add my own pipeline, and I can create as many stages as I want. I can change the name. So for example, open, putting help desk, probability, and rotting days, and I can continue to add here. So rotting days is how many deals before the deal rottens. I can also see a list view here, so I can see what's open. Like, David, why is this expected to close at 11/4/2020 and it's still open now? That's quite long. So I can see this feedback and comment. I can also create a deal by clicking the plus sign or click create deal. Put in the deal name. I can select the organization. So let's see, maybe Hoosier Keyboard, select the sub owner, select any contact person, put in the amount and save it. And then after that, I have a choice. I can go directly into here. I can create an email. So let's create an email. Let's create one. Let's see, subject 2. And let's put it in a subject. So just to let you know, inside here, you can see, of course, the default pipeline, the age, deals, owner, visibility. What's it called? In the subject here, monitors. But you can see all the information here. And you can you see the value here as well. I'm going to put in high, and I'm going to send it off. So for example, I just sent an email. You can see 500 monitors, David, high. Then I can create the activity here if I want to. For example, call. Then I can assign it to somebody. I can select the organization. And then I can send a reminder, email to assignee as well as the contacts, and I can save it. Oh, I can also, I have to put in the name. So you have to put in the start date as well as the end date you can, as well as you can select call, meeting, task, deadline, email, and lunch. So my activity's been created. I can edit, delete, as well as click this little circle to mark it complete. I can input any notes and see the log here as well. Now, the key thing is I can just drag and drop it. So for example, I can just drag it over here, and I can drag it to contact sent, and I can even drag it to close won or close loss, or I can go inside and win it. And finally, we have activities. The key thing I would just want to mention here is this is where you can generate your calendar URL, and then you paste it into your calendar URL, and then the activities will be sunk over there. So that way you have one source of truth. You can also go here, and you can see call, meeting, task, deadline, email, and I can filter by all, to do, or done. All right, and that's a look at Deskera sales. Any questions?
Okay.
Did I put everyone to sleep?
Go back to people.
All right, let's move to people. So inside here, please make sure you select the country correctly, because all the country's compliance will populate based upon that. Inside here, we have our employees, our employee list. This is where you can add in your different employees. And this is where you can put in your information. So for example, I can see my employee's data. I can see how much he makes full-time, payment. I can see any components in here, and I can see compliance. So this compliance changes based upon which country. Since I'm inside Singapore, or selected Singapore as the country, you can see the immigration status, NRIC number, nationality. If you selected the United States, you would see Social Security number, EIC number, and other information there as well. So it all depends on what you selected. You can also then select, of course, here, contractors. So you can add a contractor here as well. You can set up your pay schedules, and you can have more than one, because you may have your office staff maybe work from Monday through Friday, but you may have your shop floor work from Friday to Monday through Saturday. So you can select different pay schedules. You can create your different components here. So for example, I can add a component, and I have a choice of different types of components as earning or deduction. You can think of earning like a bonus. Maybe deduction would be your dental insurance, eye insurance, healthcare insurance, your Medicare plan or medical plan, and then you can create them here. We also have frequency here. And based upon what you select, you also have your compliance information here. Does it apply under these? Let's go to payroll, and we can do a pay run. And let's add one. Let's create a schedule. And we can then select the user, for example, maybe David Williams, and let's proceed. And inside here, I can see David Williams. I can put in the overtime. I can see he's just paying SDL, for example. So 10 hours overtime, I can see the overtime amount. And based upon whether they're Singaporean or not, you'll see CPF as well as other information. We choose a different one. Let me add John Johnson instead. Okay, maybe John Johnson. Kathy. All right. Maybe George Go. Let's proceed. So, well, he has a lot of components. So inside here, you can put that in. I do Joe Johnson earlier. Let's just see here. Oh, wow. You have a lot of them. Sorry. I'll just go here. All right. You can do multiple people. Yep. So they're all here. You can see each one. Yes. And you can even delete people that you don't like. All right, that's why. All right, then you can process it, and then after it's processed, we just process one. Let me see this one here. Quickly process this one. Okay, next. Process. Yes. Then you can view summary here and see the amount, and you can finish it. And then after that, you can go to employee, employee list, and then I can just drill in. John Williams, that was the one I wanted. Okay. Okay, so I can see my pay slip here. And if you're talking about the gyro file, if I click here on pay run, I click on the little icon here, make payment, then this is where I can select my bank, put in my batch ID, for example, select my account, payment date, gyro status, generated, not generated. Again, this bank is a fake bank, and then I can generate the file here. It can generate one file that can pay all based upon the bank, yes. All right. Anything else? Any questions? Okay, so let's quickly go to eLeave. Oh, you want me to show my mobile phone? Okay. So inside here, you can see the settings. This is where you can set up your leave management. You can do your leave adjustment yearly. Just quickly to show you here, this is what you can put your leave date. So health day leave. And you can put in the number of days. You can put in gender or marital status. You can carry forward. You can prorate. And you also can do years of service-based entitlement. You can do leave adjustment. You can set up the yearly holidays. You can do user management. The key thing in user management is the teams. So this is where you can determine who is authorized to approve. For example, inside here, Jason Lim is authorized to approve the leave of George Go and James Blake. He's the manager, and these are the users. So this is where you set up the approval process. And of course, you have your company settings inside here and your work week. Next, let's go to expenses. And this is where you can set up your expense groups. And inside here, I can see the different members, and I can also assign the manager. So for example, Kathy Lee is the manager, and she'll approve all these people's expense claims. Under categories, I can add new categories and I can assign them. So for example, travel, I can also add to fun if I want to, the fun group, and they're added. And then of course I can create a new claim here, put in the merchant tax code category. I can just scan or drop a file into here to our OCR reader. All right, so that's the claims and expenses. But we also have that on the mobile app. Yes. So inside here, you can see my mobile app. And I can do my e-leave and e-claim here directly on the screen. Yeah, so inside here, I can approve and reject based on my mobile app. And I also can take a picture of it as well. All right, any questions? Everyone okay? Everything good? Okay, let's see. Can the account verified email to STEM? Okay. All right. Well, thank you again for joining us in Tuesday trading. Feel free to leave a comment or things that you may want to see next time, or leave a message on Facebook. So please like, subscribe, and I'll see you again next Tuesday. Take care.